Stand by.
Hey everybody, it's Bendy Hammers with Hammer & Company Shooting and Steel Target Paint Team. I haven't put up very many videos recently. There's just been a lot going on. I think that's true with everybody. So I figured I'd give a little bit of an update as to a couple things that are going on. And then also, as the likely title of this video will be, is I want to introduce you to my finished product of what I consider for my purpose the optimal fighting pistol. So kind of what's been going on with me is the same thing as everybody else. We've had some political things going on. I'm not a political person at all, other than being aware of my surroundings and knowing what's going on. I really don't keep up. I'm kind of one of the people that just doesn't think that there's a lot of true information coming out from the media. So I really don't pay attention to it. And outside of voting and things like that, I think we're kind of at a very vulnerable time where the best I can do is vote and hope for the best for the most part. But what has been going on, and especially with the way that the election looks to have gone, it's going to affect shooting. And it's going to affect it in a couple different ways. One, you know, the president-elect at the moment has already said that he's coming for guns and stuff like that, which he may or may not. But what it does do for sure is certainly activates certain portions of the, let's call them, gun community. The hoarders, the go out and buy everything, the paranoid, that type of stuff, where those of us that train and those of us that compete then aren't able to find anything. So that's kind of what a lot of us have been dealing with. Nobody on the planet can find small pistol primers, which is kind of one of the big holdbacks for shooting anything centerfire, especially since in the last year or so, pretty much everything has gone 9mm. So I've kind of been in that pool as well. So I've still been training, just in different ways and with smaller round counts. I haven't practiced any steel challenge, although I was proud to say that a match that I went and shot last week, I actually shot quite well. I had 2 personal bests with the carry optic after having not, shot it as much as I would really like to as far as practice is concerned. I'm a practice person. So the other thing that's been going on with me is work is changing. So my daughter is about to turn 18. I started with the Sheriff's Department in 2006, and my priority really has been my daughter. Picking her up every single day from school, having that type of bond with her, having that type of relationship with her, and raising her what I thought was the right way to do. And it's really paid off for the most part, because I've, picking her up every day, I've noticed a lot of her friends and stuff like that have turned out to be, turned out to have a lot more challenges in a lot other areas than maybe what my daughter has. And my daughter's grown up to have a very strong support system. So my daughter was pretty much always the first thing in my life. I stayed on midnights for many, many, many years, specifically for that purpose, to be there, just be a phone call away if something was going on with her at school, to be able to pick her up every single day from school. So that's kind of been my main thing. And then law enforcement has kind of taken second fiddle to that, even though when I got into it, I was extremely interested in doing a lot of things for personal improvement in that area. Well, she's getting ready to go off to college here next year. I say next year. It'll actually be within a year. So it's time for me to refocus, and I've refocused on a lot of things, weight loss, things like that. And I'm getting back into some of the law enforcement type training. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in coming videos. But right now I'm still doing competitive shooting, still getting out shooting, still getting out practicing a little bit, doing a lot of what I call fighting shooting, fighting practice shooting. I don't like the word tactical because and not even because it's kind of a buzzword, but I'm not trained highly in that way. You know, I'm not trained, in my opinion, high enough that I would constitute myself as some of those words that are even overused. You know, to be an operator or to be anything what I would consider tactical. I just don't have the level of training that I would call myself that. So what I do know is fighting. And I've been training with a buddy of mine, who I'm going to leave nameless because that's the way he likes to operate. But he knows who he is. We've been training kind of one day a week when we can, and he'll come over here, and he's just a phenomenal fighter, just a straight up fighter. And that's what we've been working. So we've been working that with guns, we've been working that with knives, we've been working that with hand-to-hand. And what we've really been working on is a whole lot of close proximity, close quarters type engagement. And that's both with firearms, edged weapons, and hand-to-hand. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Things are changing even more at work. I'm getting a lot more into training, which is what my true love is, which is why I built the company that I've built, and we're looking at doing what we're looking at doing. But training is truly what I love to do, and I've been back into it, I'd say real serious, for just the last couple of weeks, and it's been an explosion, just a great reminder of why I got into what I got into. And I'm loving that there's some avenues and some paths that I may be able to follow that are going to take me down a road that are going to give me the opportunity to do some of those things. So all of that is to say, there's been a lot going on, so I haven't got a lot of videos out. I've actually got a couple videos that are recorded that I haven't put out. So we're having fun doing those things. So the title of this video, other than personal update, is my fighting pistol. So let's get into that. So I set out on a mission, so to speak. I set out on a goal, and that goal was to, the best that I knew how, create what I thought would be the optimum fighting pistol. So when I started thinking about that, I was going to try to go with one company as far as a gun. And though I still love that company, and I still shoot that company's gun in competition, it did not seem to care for my duty ammo. So our duty ammo is plus P, very high velocity ammunition. And there were just a couple kinks that came up with that, shooting the other pistol. So, what did I decide? Well, I decided that the ultra reliable, proven, military, police, everything, the best platform, the optimum platform. I don't want to use the word best anymore. If you saw my Tyson Kilby video, we talked about that. I'm not going to say best. For the goal that I was looking for in function was the Glock. So then it came to be which Glock? Well, the Glock 19 is one of the better carry type models. So this particular one, the Glock 45, is what I chose. So it has a Glock 19 size slide. However, it has the full length grip. So it's got a Glock 17 grip to it. And this is Gen 5 grip. So it has the attachments on the back, and it's got the little flare down there at the bottom. So I went with the Glock Model 45. And there's a couple reasons that I did that. Number one, I've got a friend of mine who had one, and the thing just shot great. Personally, I'm not a fan of anything smaller than the Glock 19. There's a lot of really, really, really good guns out there in that category. But for me personally, my opinion only, I did not want anything smaller than a Glock 19. And I liked the round capacity and the grip of the 17. So I also knew that if I was going to build what I thought for me was going to be the optimum fighting pistol, it was going to have a dot. And in my mind, there's only one dot worthy of, a lot of people will use the word duty use. I personally would say carry, heavy carry, or fighting pistol, which is pretty much what I'm calling this. And that's the Trijicon RMR. And that's simply because the gosh darn thing is indestructible. Okay, there's a video, I wish I could remember the guy's name, I'll have to look it up later. There's a video of a guy that torture tests these. He did this one where he shot it, you know, I forget how many thousand rounds it was, maybe every 2,000 rounds, and he turned the thing upside down and dropped it on a piece of concrete. And the RMR was the only one that survived. Man, I forget how many times he dropped it. It was like 14 times or some crazy thing where he dropped it repeatedly directly on the optic on a concrete slab from holding it shoulder height. So I knew I wanted a dot, and I knew I wanted the Trijicon RMR, and I knew I wanted a Glock. So being that it's going to be having the dot, that is part of what makes the short slide okay. The other thing with the short slide is coming out of any type of holster carry, whether we're talking about ambidextrous or we're talking about some type of hip carry, the shorter slide helps come out and present not only a little bit faster, but also in, like what I was talking about before with close quarters. It comes out of that holster a little bit more. If you've got to pull it out and keep it tight to you, just a little bit of a shorter barrel is going to help you do that. And there's going to be some videos coming out on that. So one of the other things that I decided on this one was that I decided that I was going to go with suppressor sights. Now, I wasn't a big fan of this to start out with, and I'm not sure how well this is going to come out on camera, but these particular sights, this is the Ameriglo, which in my opinion, I always thought they were one of the cheaper companies out there, but these are actually really, really high quality sights. And what I like about them is they are a suppressor labeled iron sight. So the idea is for this to be high enough that if you were to have a suppressor on the end of it, they would stick up. But yeah, I don't think that actually happens. But what they work really well for is working with this dot, because as you can see, it is just barely high enough, because I didn't want something that was going to take up window space. And as you can see here, it doesn't. I mean, these things are just absolutely perfect for this application. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Just put them on today. I went out and just got home from shooting it a little bit, shooting the iron sights, shooting the dot, and a mixture of it. And it really is the way to go. I mean, there's no two ways about it. So, Glock, Trijicon dot, and Ameriglo suppressor irons. So the next thing that I decided was that because of how lights have been rebuilt, redesigned. So you can see the size of this one compared to the other ones that are much larger. They are very functional, and it's nice to have it there when you need it. We're gonna have, I think Tyson Kilby and Justin Morris and I are gonna put together a low light demonstration video on low light considerations, and there's gonna be some things that you may not expect in how to use a light. There are particular ways to use a light. So this is the Streamlight TLR7A. So that means this one has the activator on the back. So you click it once and it comes on, and it's very bright. I believe it's 500 lumens. Click it, goes on, click it, it comes off. So one of the things, just a little preview, is that your weapon light, not your handheld light, your weapon light is either on or it's off. Though it does have an intermittent, if you hold this down, it'll go off as soon as you let go. Okay? Actual training with this, and we're going to get into this later, is that this weapon light is either on or it's off for the purposes that it's going to be used. So just so I can make it clear, I also carry a handheld, okay? Nothing takes the place of a handheld flashlight, nothing. So we'll get into that more later, but I did want a weapon light on there. It does not take the place of my handheld flashlight. It has a specific purpose and a specific reason for being there. We'll get into that later. So, Glock 45, Dot, Trijicon, Ameriglow suppressor iron sights, TLR7A. I do have the other one with the buttons on the sides. I like this better. And then on this particular one, in my carry position, I've got the +2 on there. So I've got a 19 round magazine with one in the chamber. So I've got a total of 20 rounds as it's in my holster. Okay. So I'm okay with this as I carry it, at least for now. If my mind changes, then I'll say so, but for right now, I'm okay with this. But I do not, my backup magazines, I carry 2. My backup magazines do not have this. This is a fighting pistol, and what I don't want is I don't want to be in a situation where this could possibly be broken off and we lose all the ammo out of it. To my evaluation, it's less likely for that to happen on the magazine that I'm carrying. Okay, I don't want the ones that my backup magazines are on my belt, you know, fighting or whatever it might be. Those are going to get run up against all kinds of stuff. Yes, it could on this pistol too, but I think it's more important to have the round count on the magazine that I'm actually carrying. So we've got a 19 round magazine, one in the holes, so that's a total of 20. Important thing to note: trigger, nothing, done nothing to this trigger. No high speed, low drag, fancy extended magwell releases. And this all comes from listening to Larry Drake. There are many reasons. We can talk about that later, but nothing has been done to this trigger. As a matter of fact, I can tell you this. This gun has not even been cleaned, lubricated, nothing. It has, I'm going to guess it's got about 1,000 rounds through it right now, and it's still got some of that brown gunk in there. And that is because I'm going to abuse this pistol. This pistol is going to be abused. It is a fighting pistol. It is nowhere near even broken in right now. So I'm making this video at the time that it has pretty much come together in its final functional position. Okay? So, Hammer and Company, fighting pistol, Glock 45, dot, weapon light, ready to train. You're going to see more of this gun. All right, guys. Thank you all for all of your support. I hear so much feedback from everybody who watches my videos. I've said it before, I do these videos a lot for myself. But when people come up and tell me, hey, you know, I really liked your last video, or hey, I've been keeping up with your videos, or, you know, when's the next one? I can't tell you that feeling. Just to know that somebody else out there is interested in the same thing I am, and they pay attention to maybe what I have to say about the subject. So, fighting pistol, your first view, Hammer and Company fighting pistol. It's going to be fun. Thank you guys. I will see you soon.